If you work in a tech company, you probably have heard about the term of the two pizza teams. If you don't work in tech, you probably are wondering what on earth am I talking about. The two pizza team comes from the definition of the size of a modern product team. But what is a modern product team? Well, that's what we are going to talk about. So when talking about modern product teams, I'm not trying to talk about product management teams. I'm talking about the teams that actually do the execution towards a product or a feature. Typically, these product teams are going to be a mix of different type of people. They're going to be a mix of different type of roles that are going to help from the planning all the way to the execution and communication and promotion of a product or a feature. So who are part of these product teams? And these are not in any particular order. There's going to be somebody like a product manager or in some cases a product owner who is taking the responsibility of understanding what are the problems that our users are having and then also working out with some other people in the team to define what the solution is. Usually the product manager shouldn't work in isolation. The product manager is also going to take the responsibility of setting the vision and the long-term strategy for the product. This person is also going to work with product designers who are actually going to design how the product is actually working. How does it look like? How does it feel? What is the experience that the users are going to have? And how do they interact with this product? Then there's the engineering team. The engineering team has going to have different roles. So there's going to be different type of software engineers, senior software engineers, tech leads. Typically the tech leads has to work then very close to the product manager with the product designer when planning, identifying that problem from the user and actually defining the solution. It's really important that these people are working together to understand what is the feasibility of those solutions that somebody might be coming up with. It's not just about having a creative solution, it's also understanding how viable it is, how much effort it's going to take. Of course, when you talk about software engineers, there's going to be different type of software engineers and it will depend a lot on what type of product you're going to be building. You're going to have people like DevOps, you are going to have people that are going to be working on the back end, on the front end, full stack, so on and so forth. But in the end, you want a team that can build the solution together, that they can own that product or set of features and deliver them on their own as much as possible. Typically here, you're going to be talking already around group of people. It depends on the team size. It can be from 2 to 3 engineers all the way to close to 10 engineers. It depends a little bit on the size of the company. And these are going to be the people that are going to be typically working together in this product or in this set of features. But there's going to be other people that are maybe not necessarily working all the time together with them, but they are going to be key in order to make this end-to-end product. And these are going to be people like data scientists, data engineers, who are actually going to be into the data that you want to gather, that you need in order to make decisions, the data that you want to gather from the usage of the product, and all basically data related questions, that analytic related questions that you might have within your team. If you are an advanced tech company, these people are also be working in features that are related to machine learning or artificial intelligence. And of course, we shouldn't forget about the quality of the deliverables that we are creating. We had to make sure that whenever we are building something, it's actually working, is fully tested, and we are not breaking anything that we have built in the past. For this, you are going to have testing automation engineers. These people are going to make sure that the pipelines, the CI/CD, the continuous integration, continuous deployment is all in place to make sure that whenever you're building any new feature or adding more value to your product, you're actually not breaking anything on the product itself. And just a quick one, there's no bug-free software, that just doesn't exist. But what you want to make sure is that all the regular and the most common workflows that your users are going to have are always safe and that you are actually taking care of them. That workflow, that main workflow value proposition that you are having for your product, you are actually making sure that it's always safe to use by your users. And then of course, you have the promotion side. You have to make sure that whenever you are building a new feature, you can actually promote it to your customers. So here you usually are going to have somebody like a product marketing manager who are going to look into what is the value proposition that we are having in this new feature or new product that we are building, who are the target personas that we are selling to, how we are going to tell the story of how this actually meet some of their needs or solve some of the problems that they might have. And here also it's very important to work with this product marketing manager from the beginning of the planning, because you don't want them to bring them along only at the very end. It's good for them to understand what's coming so they can plan their work accordingly as well. And try to avoid as much as possible a waterfall workflow, because it's usually not going to be the most efficient way of working. Depending on your company, you might also have documentation that you have to pay attention to. There's many companies and many products out there, especially if you're thinking about B2B companies, that have a lot of documentation on how the product is working, helping materials, learning materials, and all these other potential resources that are going to help your users. If you have people that are working in this area, of course, it's good to get them included also as part of this team so they can actually plan and develop their own work accordingly. This way, you're making sure that there is a team that has ownership of a product, of a certain part of the product, and can deliver an end-to-end solution of that product. And the reality is that there's no independent product from that point of view, but you want to make them as independent as possible so they can make the decisions and they can do the work as efficiently as they can. There's going to be other stakeholders that they want to work with, that they had to work with, unless you have a very small company that's your only team that is doing the delivery, and that's the only personnel that you have in the company. But if you have other people, you're going to have stakeholders, and depends on the size of the company. This can be the CEO in a startup, or it can be your customer success teams, your sales teams, your business operations teams, whatnot. There's going to be many teams out there that of course are going to be interested in the plans. And usually how this works is that there's going to be some kind of after the planning sessions, there's going to be some kind of information to the rest of the company to understand what are the plans that are coming from that team. If you like this kind of content, I would love if you give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot in YouTube, and also tells me which ones of the videos that I'm doing you like the most and what content would you like to hear more about. Of course, if you have some comments, leave them below. So how about you? How these people work in your company? Do they work together as part of a team or some kind of virtual team? Do they work separately? How do you organize the work in your company? It would be something very interesting to hear from your point of view. Or what are the best ways of working that maybe I have missed in this video? Just leave a comment down below. I will see you in the next video, and remember, stay safe.